So I got to ask you, man, just growing up in baseball, who were some of your favorite players?
Well, I grew up in Lansing, Michigan, and so everybody that was on a Tiger uniform, Detroit Tigers were my favorite, and probably Alan Trammell, number 3. I wore number 3 in high school, so maybe Alan Trammell at shortstop.
So I got to ask you, man, you've been a pitcher, a legendary pitcher at that. If you put together a Mount Rushmore, you put 4 pitchers on your Mount Rushmore, who are your 4?
That's a great question. I mean, it's hard not, I pitched with 2 of the greatest, in Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine, so it's hard to leave them off. But if I had to leave off my teammates, then I'm thinking you got to, Sandy Koufax is one of those that is hard to leave off. I think of Pedro Martinez when he is as nasty as they get. I think of Randy Johnson when he is as nasty as they get, and certainly you could pick anybody from Tom Seaver to Roger Clemens but I'll go Nolan Ryan.
That is a nasty 4. So, you made a transition from being a starter to a closer or to a reliever. Just the idea that you're seeing some guys like John Gray being able to do this, how was that transition for you as a player?
It was very difficult. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. On-the-job training. I didn't really have much time to kind of embrace it. And, it's still pitching, but it's a totally different form of pitching. It's adrenaline through the roof. There's no rhyme or reason when you're going to get in, how you're going to get in. There's no structure. So you really have to have a bad memory. You have to go out there each and every night and know that you're only going to get interviewed if you blow a game. And so that's the mental side that you have to deal with too.
All right, cool. 2 more questions. So let's say we can fast forward and we put young Jon Smoltz in today's baseball. You see how all the players have the cool walk-up songs, the themes, the lights cut off. But let's say the song is called Jon Smoltz. You can pick any artist that allowed to do your walk-up song. They would do it live at the ballpark. Who would you want to do your walk-up song?
That's another. I'm not. I love music. I don't particularly adhere to anything in general, like in my playlist. Golly, that's a great one. And who would I pick? My era, there was all kinds of, and I loved the Gap Band. I loved Journey. I loved. I'm gonna go for whatever reason. I'm gonna go with Steve Perry and Journey.
You gotta go with Journey. One of the greatest to ever do it. Okay, last question. So if you could think of the top 3 hitters that you face in your baseball lifetime, who will be the top 3 toughest guys that you had to face in baseball?
Well, Tony Gwynn, number 1, never struck out, couldn't strike him out. He's one of the greatest premier hitters I've ever faced. Barry Bonds, obviously, from the power that he was able to deliver. And I'm sure there's others that I'm going to bet. Albert Pujols, and it'd be Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols morphed in one. I didn't face him a ton, but I faced Albert Pujols in his prime, and he was no fun to try and get out.
John, I appreciate your time. Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure interviewing you. Thank you.